Hello there and welcome to this Notion course on YouTube. Our next few weeks, you will learn everything that you need to know to master the most powerful productivity app out there, Notion. You will learn how to navigate Notion, you will learn how to use the various features to build a perfect workspace for your situation, and of course you will learn all the hundreds little small tips and tricks that only real Notion power users know. And all of that will be uploaded to YouTube, so make sure that you subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. That way you'll never miss a video and be a Notion master in no time. Before we start though, quick few words about myself. Why even listen to me? My name is Matthias and I've been using Notion now for a little more than 3 years. And in the beginning I was just like you. I was searching YouTube for tutorials, I was downloading tons of templates and just trying to figure out how to use Notion. Nowadays, I'm a Notion ambassador and I help small teams and solopreneurs use Notion and save tons of hours every week by streamlining their workflows and getting together in Notion to master their day-to-day business. I also write a newsletter about personal productivity, personal growth, and of course Notion that is read by more than 5,000 people every week, and the Notion templates that I built have been downloaded more than 10,000 times. Most importantly though, I've spent hundreds of hours over the past few years learning every little feature of Notion, finding new ways to do things smarter or figuring out how to use Notion for new tasks and what are the most or the best principles on how to set up workspaces. I really love Notion, so this video course will definitely have a lot of enthusiasm, but I'll promise you by the end of the course you'll be just as enthusiastic about Notion as I am. And with that out of the way, let's dive into the course and let's learn how to use Notion.
Okay, to get started, let's create a fresh Notion account so that we start from scratch and you can see every step along the way. Once you navigate to notion.so, you can simply click on Try Notion for free, and that will start the account creation process. So I'm going to use free.notion.course@gmail.com for this one. And what will happen is they will send me a login code. So let me just quickly grab that. Okay, so I'm going to paste the login code here and then we click on Create New Account. Let's wait for it to load. And now if we first open Notion, they will just get us through some quick onboarding. So my name is Matthias and I want to set a random password. Awesome, so password is set. Let's continue. You can add a photo later. Our work role in that, we can add it, but we don't really need that, so we click on skip for now. And then the question is, do we use it as a team or for myself? I'm going to do the team one, add myself on for now. That's like the free Notion account, so you get basically all the functionality and like a little bit less collaboration, but totally sufficient to get started. Awesome, so this is what you see when you open Notion on a fresh account for the very first time. Notion will give you a few templates as a suggestion, but I would recommend that you remove all the templates for now, start on a clean slate, and then you can always add the templates back in later. So I'm going to click on Clear Templates, and then we'll get most of this stuff out here. And I'm just going to create like a new empty page, and I'm also going to delete that one, so we're on a completely fresh install. Let's take a look at the different sections of the screen now. So on the left you have the sidebar, and the sidebar is mostly used for navigation and to access a few settings and key features. At the very top you have the option to hide your sidebar if you want like full real estate for the screen, particularly if you're on a small desktop. That's quite useful. And you see that's the name of your workspace, and if you click on here you see all the workspaces that you have. The way Notion is organized can kind of be imagined like at the very top you have your account, and then below an account you have workspaces, and you can have an unlimited amount of workspaces per account, and every workspace is kind of like a separate entity. There are ways to move data from one point to another, but for the most part one workspace is pretty much contained. So what I would recommend is that for like each sort of section of your life or whatever you want to organize in Notion, only create a separate workspace if it's like really completely separate. So for the most part, most people will start out with one workspace, and if you then later like have maybe a personal one and then you have a professional one for your work that has like a different workspace, you could navigate between them here. And again, yeah, you can simply click on the three dots and join or create a workspace. So then you can like add multiple workspaces to your account, or yeah, join one where you are invited. Next up, you have quick find. For now, nothing will really happen, but if you click on it, if you press Command P, you see you can search through Notion, and that will make it much easier to navigate everything later on. Same here, that's also something for later. If you, in particular, if you collaborate with other people, you will see their notifications here, or if you use Notion to remind you of something, it will show up here. So it's more like notifications than updates. And then below you have your settings. In settings, most of it isn't too relevant. We can just quickly go through the things. So in your account, you can obviously add a photo, you can change your email and your name and your password, all of the good stuff. Notifications and settings, you can use this to turn off push and email notifications. I would recommend that so that you don't get an email if someone changes something in the workspace in case you collaborate. And then you have the option to change Notion from light mode to dark mode, or to do it according to your system settings. Same for like what page you want to have open, but yeah, none of this is too crucial, but it's good to know about it. In connected apps, you will find, if you activate things later, nothing for you in the beginning to know about. Language and region can be useful if you want to change the language, or if you want to make sure that your calendars look right. My work starts on Monday, so I'm going to toggle that on. And then earn credit, that's just for like a few tasks that you can fulfill in case you ever want to upgrade to the paid plan. So much about your account settings. Now, when it comes to the specific workspace, I would recommend to definitely change one thing, and that's your domain. In case you change, in case you decide to share parts of your Notion workspace publicly, for example, if you create a template and share it with the public, or if you write a proposal for like a client in Notion and want to send it to them, you will get a public URL to send to them. And by default, Notion will pick a random domain, in this case, internal meta read 69f, but you can change that. So I could very well say, okay, instead I would like this to read free Notion course, and let's see whether that one is already taken. Okay, that one is not allowed. So maybe we can do something like YouTube Notion course, also not allowed. Maybe it's is it the Notion? That's, oops. Let's try it. How about free course 4? Yes, that's perfect. And now you see that will translate to free course4.notion.site. So that's then the public URL to share. Plus you can add an image, but the main setting will be this one. One word of caution, if you do this, if you set like an individual domain and you share a bunch of links and then you want to change it later, all your old links will become invalid. So be careful with that. In members, you can, oops, yes, let's save the settings. In members, you can add people to your workspace. On a free plan, there's like a limit to that. If you have a paid plan, it's unlimited. And you can also then set their access level. I always, the main user can only be the admin, but then you can also like just create regular members. Upgrade, obviously, for your paid plans. Again, the personal one is does pretty much anything you want. You more or less need to upgrade to the other plans if you plan to collaborate more with other people. Billing, self-explanatory. Security, mostly if you want to disable certain things, but that's only available on the enterprise plan. Pretty sure the same goes for identity. If you have like an enterprise, you could do single sign-on. And then on integrations, that will be something for more advanced users. You can manage like who has access to Notion Workspace. Nothing for now. So that's the quick run through all the settings. Below it, you will see the navigation area. So all the pages that you create in Notion will show up here. We're going to talk about the exact way of how the Notion architecture works in the next video. So for now, only know that if you create like several pages, they will show up here. And if you create like, this is maybe the first page, and if we create a page inside our page, second level page, it will show up nested below. So this is sort of your folder structure in Notion. Below that, you find the templates. So this is the template library by Notion. So if you miss one of the templates that we deleted the first step, you can just go in here and add them back to your workspace. You can import data from other sources and you can look at your trash. So everything that you delete by accident will show up here. And that's pretty much it for the sidebar. Now let's get to the main content part of Notion, this window here. This is your content editor, so to say, where you will interact most of the time with Notion. Again, we're going to dive into the details of how to use this section in the next video. This one is just the first steps and like getting a feeling for the UI of Notion. So we're not going to focus too much on it. Instead, we're going to look at the settings at the top right. These are your page-wide settings. So here we had the settings for our whole workspace, and up here on the right are the settings for the specific page that we're looking at. First thing that we can do is we can share to the public. So right now we could invite a person to work on this with us, or we can share it to the web. So if I toggle this on, I'll see, okay, I can, same as in Google Docs or so, set the permissions and decide, okay, who can do what, and then you see I get this link to share it, and because I changed the URL to free course for notion.site, that shows up here now instead of that weird Meteor one. So much about this. Next one, the comment section. This one will only be relevant once you collaborate with people. You can see all the comments that someone made on here. You then have the updates. This is like your version history. So if you by accident delete something, very, very important, you can simply go in here and then you see everything that happened, and you can go back in time to make sure that you restore it if you are upgraded to a paid plan. And then you have the star. The star is super useful to favorite a page. And what favoriting means is that then all of a sudden you get a new section in your sidebar and all your favorites will show up here. Now, that isn't too relevant if you start just out and you see like I have the first page here now and I have the first page there. So I mean, I could also just click here, but it will become relevant once you build out your workspace and once you have like fairly deep levels of pages. So for example, if I create like a third level page here, now to access that page, I would need to click on, okay, first page, second page, and then third page. So instead of doing it, if I have to use this all the time, I will just add that to my favorite bar, and that way it shows up here, and yeah, I don't have any issue to access it. Just for your understanding, this one here is just like pinning it or like favoriting the bookmark. It doesn't change the way things are stored. The third level page is still nested inside this first page. We also see that if you click on it, here at the very top, you always see the breadcrumbs, so where something lives. So we didn't put it on like a top level by favoriting it. It just shows up here now for quick access. And then lastly, the three dots for some more advanced settings. At the very top, you can change the style. Notion doesn't offer like a lot of fonts, but you can go for like a one with serifs or like a mono one if that's more like your style. Again, these will only apply on the page level. So I can say, okay, my third level page should be in mono, and my second level page, that one I would like to have in serif. So yeah, if you want to have your whole workspace in that look, you always need to change it for every single page. You can also decide to make the text smaller if you want that. And then you have the full width option. That's a very important option because as you can see, by default, if I create a new Notion page, I have a lot of white space. I can let me just show you. This is the area in which I will be able to write text. So already on my fairly small screen, I have this white space and this white space here on the side. So to get access to your full screen, you always need to click on the three dots and then go to full width and toggle that on. And now you see I have the whole page available for writing and all the other things. In the customized page settings, we could do some top level settings. So if you link to some page, you can decide whether you want to see it. You can decide whether you want to have like a comment section at the very top, and so on and so on. Yeah, just like decide how the page comments are displayed. But this will again mostly be relevant once you start collaborating. You can lock a page. Locking a page means you can't make any changes to it. but it's like a fairly inefficient lock because you can just like go back in here and like unlock it. So it's mostly if you want to make sure that you don't by accident delete anything, and that happens to you quite often. You could lock a page, but again, you can't make any edits then, so it's not the most useful one. You can also do the favoriting from this menu. So as you can see now, it disappeared, and now I can add it back here. You can copy the link to share this page, and you can open it in the app if you have it installed. Undo, same as everywhere else on your laptop, Command Z to do that. Page history if you're at least in the personal pro plan, and your deleted pages. Import and export are not used too often. You can use the export one to back up your workspace. So you can click on here and you can decide to like export everything. It will only export things that are on this page or below. So if you wanted to export your whole workspace, what you would need to do is you would need to have everything in either like export every top level page individually, or do like move everything into one page and then export it. And importing is mainly used if you have a database. We'll go through that at a later point in this course, where you can import data from Excel or like a CSV file or so and have that all in there. And then you can move a page. Again, as I said, like in Notion, you always have these sort of pages that behave a bit like folders, and you can nest them in between, and I can move them from one place to another. So I could say, okay, the second level page, actually that was a mistake. That is not a second level page, it should be first level. So I can start dragging it, and then I see this blue line appear, and that's where I will drop it. So if I have the blue line, the small blue line, that means, okay, I would drop it here. If I highlight this action, it means I would drop it inside. So if I drop it here, it now lives inside the untitled page. If I move it out of here, it now lives on the top level. But it clearly is labeled second level page, so we don't want to have it here. So either I can now go ahead and drag it back into first page, or I can click on the three dots and I can say move to, and then I can pick the area where it's supposed to be moved. So I can now pick, okay, please move it to first page. Now it lives in there again. Don't worry too much if you are a bit confused by the way Notion organizes the sidebar and the pages. We'll do a deeper dive into that in the next video, where we talk a lot about the way Notion organizes this whole file and folder system. But yeah, for now, let's just finish the quick UI tour. So we have the page right options, we have the sidebar, you have the help option in the bottom right corner, and can also create new pages in the bottom left one. So all that's left now is to look at the page itself quickly. So if we are on a page, we see this one already has this lipstick. Let's go actually on this untitled page to see how everything looks for like a completely new page. You always have the untitled area here, and then you can pick what you want to do. You can either press enter, or you can like select one of these options. And the options are a bit misleading because they look like it's a lot of different things, but actually it's just two different types. You can either create a page, those are the options up here, or you can create a database. And for the database, you can pick already different views, but you can easily switch between them later. So it's not really like an important decision at this point which one you pick. The only thing that you need to decide on is whether it should be a page or a database. Again, we'll cover the difference at a later point. For now, let's just create an empty page. And for an empty page, again, we can give it a title, so a full title ideally. And then if we hover over this section, we see these three options appear. So we can add an icon. This will give us this little emoji, and we can do pick everything from the emoji picker. And what we see is that it also displays that in the sidebar. So emojis are not just, or like these icons are not just a way to make the page look a bit prettier here, but it's also really, really handy to navigate your workspace later once you have a lot of pages. If you always have this empty page icon, it can be sometimes quite hard to quickly jump to a section. But if you have, for example, your business proposal and you all use the business like the suitcase, it's much easier to quickly skim on the side and see, okay, that's this page. So I recommend using these to make navigation more easy. Next thing you can do is you can add a cover. that will add the section above here, and that's purely aesthetics. So this one won't show up anywhere in the navigation. It will show up in some database views, but for the most part, it's just to make things look pretty. You can click on change cover, and then you can pick something from the gallery. You can upload your own video, like your own image. You can add a link to any web page. So if there's a image hosted on the web somewhere, you can just copy the link and paste it here. And then you can also search Unsplash to add this picture of a nice chocolate cookie once it loads. And then you can also click on reposition to change the exact layout that you see here. But yeah, nothing too interesting. Perfect. Let's actually change this a little bit so that we maybe see the chocolate cookie. Yes, perfect. Okay, the comment option adds then this like little comment field at the very top. Again, if you're alone in your workspace, this doesn't make much of a difference, but if you work in a team, it might be useful to add some comments. And that's the top section. So again, you have the emoji, you have your cover section, and you have a title. And then below in the comment section, below everything is the body of the page. So this is the actual area where you will write. If you think about like a Word document or a Google Doc, this is all the content inside your document. And it just works like any normal text editor. So you can just start typing out whatever comes to your mind. And yes, we'll cover all the functions of the text editor in one of the upcoming videos. But for now, that's everything you need to know about the UI. Oops. Okay, let's let it reload. And then quickly do again just a quick summary of everything we learned today. We learned about the Notion sidebar that we can use to navigate between our pages, where we can add our favorites and where we can change our settings. We learned about the page-wide settings, how we can share them, how we can see the comments and the version history, how we can add them to our favorite bar, and how we can like customize the look and feel of the page a little bit, mainly in terms of how big is the font, which font do I use, and do you use full width or not. And then you have the content section with your emoji, your cover, and the title, and then the body below to type stuff. That's it for the first video. You set up your Notion Workspace. Great job. Now you can play around with the functions a little bit, and then come back for the next video where I will walk you through everything that you need to know about how to use Notion as a page editor, like a simple Word editor or text editor. And that concludes the first episode of this complete Notion course on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to make sure you get notified when a second episode releases. Any questions about creating your Notion account, the different plans available, or the interface of Notion? Let me know below in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. Lastly, make sure that you go through the steps outlined in this video and create your Notion account. If you have one already, go to your settings now to make sure that you grab a more personal domain than the random words that Notion assigns to you. And with that, you will be well prepared to start your journey towards Notion mastery. See you in the next one.